For more than 7 months, there were no significant updates from Meshy, one of the loudest 3D AI generator, and suddenly they bombing us with the updates. Updated frontier model Meshy 7, better multi-view, better geometry and texture accuracy, and they also released Smart Mesh, aka low poly, which actually look low poly. And that means I have some job to do, and honestly results are surprisingly good. And by the way, you might know me as a guy who always bully Meshy for low quality, and does it mean that I have to change my mind now? Let's figure it out together and see if Meshy finally made a comeback. Steph here, and guys, this month is crazy. We do have Meshy 7, we have much more coming this month. I don't know, and the quality improves significantly. And Meshy drops it first, so let's review it first. So what do we have? We have humble announcements that's Meshy 7 pushing it to frontier of 3D alignment. So what they say is that now they follow prompts, like image prompts in terms of geometry, in terms of texture, much closer. And I agree, that's the gap, and if they fix it, that would be amazing. That's exactly what we're gonna check. Another updates that they made is that they upgraded the multi-view, so basically texture now support multi-view. I mean, their relationship with multi-view is a bit weird for me because basically multi-view is already added everywhere for texture and geometry as well. Well, they say that now it's supported here. Okay, we're gonna test that. And 1 month ago, they also released Meshy T2, or so-called smart topology. And I must say that this one is actually a progress, because what they had before was absolutely not low poly. That was just remesh, at max. And surprisingly, it took second place basically just right after Tripo P1. That's really good results, and my opinion doesn't matter because guys, you vote, you see what you see. However, this week Tripo releasing P2, which spoiler is much better on my main channel, and on this channel together I will be posting a video I think very soon after this video. So subscribe to not miss it out. That's crazy. Quads, I'm gonna show some examples we're gonna compare today. So let's run some tests and see how it works. So how it's done, we do have image to 3D as usual, and we also have batches. I actually appreciate this one because you can see I generated plenty of models already, and that was not taking eternity, which I really like. Then we do have standard option, that's high poly and smart topology. In smart topology, by the way, that's the smallest one, we have Meshy T2. That's exactly we're gonna test it, and we have polygon set. There's no options to choose triangles or quads, it's only triangles. Now, for standard, we do have Meshy 7. It's already available for everyone. And ultra mode, of course, we're gonna use that ultra mode. And I would say it should be sort of by default. I don't know why it's separated. It's taking longer, and it's add more credits. I guess you don't use it for simpler model, but this one is really good. So I will use it pretty much all the time. And the basic settings, you can split it into parts, you can pose it with the character, repose it. Image enhancement is completely new to this prompts stuff, you can use it, but I always teach that you do the white background, the solid background, and control yourself what you want to generate. And then you hit the generate. Generation is not that long, it's 1-2 minutes, and it generates mesh only. One bit annoying thing for me, because I work usually in Tripo and other generators, I cannot generate it right away with texture. So I have model, and then I have an option to texture it. So from texturing options, what do we have? Yeah, the promised multi-view, so you can activate multi-view and add more images to do that. Then we have generate PBR maps, Meshy 7, again up to 8K, right? Basically 8K is now in every major 3D generator. I think 8K already there. It can take up to 3 minutes. You can click and that's done. They still offer free retries, which is appreciated. There's also remesh, that old remesh, and UV unwrap. And then we have the results. Here we go. What can I say? I definitely feel the improvements. One thing that I'm sort of missing, that I believe and I remember, there was emissive map generated, and I'm back and I cannot find where is this emissive map. They sort of omitted it, or just removed it, but I think that was cool. It was not always working, but that was one of the things that no one else had. I don't know why they removed it. Okay, so and the results are pretty cool, for real. Let's go for some more tests, and then we're gonna compare it with Tripo 3.1, which is currently a top 1. And by the way, guys, reminder, we do have top3d.ai, and that platforms is exactly for you. Like, you can compare Meshy T2 with P1 side by side and decide like which one is actually good for you or which one is not. We recently did huge update. We added like a lot of tests, and you can see how it performs. By the time you watch this video, there will be much more models here. There will be item version 3, Meshy 7, and maybe new Hunyan model will be also added if they release it soon. As I record this video, we adding Meshy 7 here. Okay, so here's the reference and here's the results. Okay, well, I mean, it does make sense. It really looks not bad. Like, I mean, I cannot say like I don't like something. Like, if we take a look on the mesh, well, okay, here we go, right? Well, that's just good mesh. Like, I mean, you can use that like for printing, for example. Here's one more, pink jacket. Okay, and it looks amazing, to be honest. Okay, this one is capped, the covered. Okay, yeah, but I think that's fine. I mean, ideally, maybe like it should be like hollow sleeves, but still, that's sort of fine. Like, I mean, you can work with this mesh as a high poly. This really works, and the texturing is also not bad. One more. Okay, so here we go with the work. Well, what about the texture? Like, if we take a closer look to the reference, we can see that there are some spots, right? A lot of them. Yeah, Meshy actually see them, right? Maybe a little bit too contrast, but still, I think that's like a good job. Oh, okay. No, I just was saying like it's good, but it's like, why? What is this? Like, I never saw these artifacts. Let's try one more character. Here is the reference. Okay, here we go. Okay, the fingers here are better. Nice. At least we have 5 fingers. Fine. Okay, this one is better. Just for comparison, let's take a look how Tripo made it. And here's the Tripo version. Okay, like 5 fingers. Oh, look. So the bottles here, they're sort of like merged. That's sad, right? And Meshy, yeah, they're also merged, but not the same way. Like, so this one look better, right? And guys, this character test is basically shows that this is not how you create characters. Like, if you want to create a cool character, take a look at my other videos on my channel. First rule is to separate it in parts, and then you bring it all together in Blender, and you never have issues with bottles, hands, etc., because you're gonna generate hand alone, head alone, hair all separately, like the hat on the back also separately. Control every detail, the placement, and that will make it much better. And I just recently dropped like complete beginners tutorial, hour long. It will give you all the knowledges that you need. One more. Here we go. Well, this is also a very good one, right? Take a look on the mesh. Okay, it's pretty cool. It's like very close to the reference indeed. I'm probably gonna say, like, if we compare it with Tripo, I also generated it with Tripo. Here's one interesting thing that I might like more about Meshy in this update. So we took a look on Tripo. In terms of geometry, it's pretty much the same work, right? But look at the texture here and here. So Meshy did it like the spots like this and this, and the interesting thing that the reference is basically like that. So Meshy painted it like closer to the reference. PBR is definitely a little bit off, and I would say PBR better in Tripo. And I don't know what they did to PBR, to be honest. Like, I think like it was different before, and there was like an emission map. So if we take a look on side by side, you can see the difference, right? So Tripo recognized the spots like much better. Like the gold spots, they're more reflective. You can see here, and the skin also. I was doing a lot of tests, and I think Tripo follows closer on geometry, and Meshy follows better on texture. Interesting. And me saying Meshy is good result is quite rare. All last year I was bullying them. Let's do more tests. The helmets, take a look, very close look, because we're gonna see like the details how they actually follow. So you can see the material. Take a look here on this part and on this part. Now let's review the result. Here's the interesting thing, that there is some small piece here that I asked you to remember. Meshy did it exactly. Tripo sort of like restored it, and like technically this follows the reference more, but that reference was generated, which means it was broken. Okay, then we go around, and this part, you can see that this red dot, Meshy just removed that red dot and did it like a little bit different and added this black color. While in the original reference, there is no black color. It's like you can see there's like gray stuff. Although Meshy sort of even looks a little bit more accurate in this area, or like cleaner. There are these labels that are also broken. But look how different the backside is. So Tripo decided there's only one wire plugged, and there is another plug, but it's like unplugged. Like what? And here's how Meshy did that. So I like this one more in Meshy right now. That's more logical, but if we take a look from this side, so this one is more accurate to the reference, this part, but this part on Meshy is like more accurate. So are we reaching the same level? That's not expected, and I'm pretty happy that we have like very hard competition now. But let me show you the test where Meshy actually won Tripo. This one is hatchling in the egg. Here's the reference, and what's cool about the reference that we cannot see what's inside the egg. That's the point. I want to know how it's gonna generate what's inside. And look at this. Basically, Meshy generated the whole guy with legs standing there, right? And the egg. And Meshy cheated. Like, this is cheating, in my opinion. Like, this is cheating. From this perspective, they look very close. Maybe more colorful, more interesting in terms of PBR Tripo, like you can see right now. But when you take a look like that, definitely this one is the winner. It is what it is. And again, like, we're gonna add everything on the arena and see how it performs. If Meshy will take the lead, that will be crazy. But chill, here's the test where Tripo did better job. This one is a plush dragon. Here is the Meshy, and here is the Tripo. And I think like all the details, including texture, of course. By the way, both are generated in 8K texture. So like this and this is 8K texture. And I think like Tripo did like much better job adding like this texture pattern. Although like this one is also plush, but it looks uncolored, right? You can see the wing also. So this one is like closer to the reference. Let's do more tests. Crazy chest. This one is like completely cartoonish, right? Well, basically you set the PBR, so that's why it generated like this. It has the PBR, but I don't know, like I think like both are on the same level in terms of texture styling, but PBR is definitely better here. You can see like on this lock. And something with colors again, like the settings here are exactly the same. A little bit in terms of colors, maybe I lean toward like Tripo, maybe because I used to, like because I expect it to be sort of this, but this one is very, very close, like by many means. Oh, like inside mouse, like this one look much cleaner inside. Okay, no, okay, I think this one is the winner here overall. But also we can check the geometry. I think like this one is sharper, right? You can see like this wood crunches. Okay, yeah. One more very interesting test, like this gun. And what's special about it, that there's like a glass tube with some stuff in it. Let's see how it can handle that. Both generators cannot handle transparency really. So what you see now, right? Let's start rotating it. Haha, look at this. This is so funny. So basically Meshy cheated here. It's like created a tube and just painted on top like geometry. And Tripo, well, actually it's nice inside part, but like this well, at last, if we take a look like this one is closer, right, by this part. But yeah, of course it's like wrong, both are wrong. One interesting thing is the text. So there's like very simple text, and this MX and this MK, and the right one is MK. So you think, okay, maybe Mesh should do the text better? No, if we rotate it, it's like, so here is like absolutely gibberish, and here as well. So maybe some visible text, yes, a little bit of them. And one more test, the fox head. But hear me out. On the reference, you can see this watercolor style, and let's see which one is closer. So if we take a closer look, like again, both are 8K texture, then we can see like this one is like quite detailed, like Meshy, like nice details, etc. But if we take a look from here, we can see that Meshy actually did the texturing more following the reference. This should be like this, following the reference. And Tripo did something different. It's close, it's it's like 8K, like it add, you know, like this pattern and stuff, but it's not really the reference. That's the thing. So in terms of high poly, following the reference and texturing, Meshy shows significant improvements. And I might actually consider to recommend Meshy texturing from now on. I think it can be actually a very good combination. Tripo, high poly, Meshy texturing. This one is very, very interesting. Now let's do a quick test for the multi-view. I actually prepared one test. I am not big fan of multi-view because I believe again like that it's not that beneficial because I did like a lot of tests, and multi-view though do not have this ultra mode, right? So I guess I don't know, we're missing out or what, like say ultra mode adding like multi-view. I don't know how it's related, but let's see if that will be a good job. Okay, here's the mesh ready, and yeah, everything seems fine following the reference. There's the back view, there's the left view, not bad. And to texture that, yeah, you basically have it all here, or you can generate it like from one single view and then do multi-view here. Well, anyway, interesting. Okay, let's do 4K just to make it faster. And 3 minutes later, here is the textured version. Well, fine. I think like with single image, most likely it will be similar thing, but yeah, it works. It's fine. I would say multi-view makes sense when you have like some different details or like details that you cannot see from front that you need to specify. I just not face cases like that often. What's more interesting for me is low poly. So how do you generate it again? Like you attach the reference, you go to smart low poly, and let's do the test. So let's start with this rifle. Generation actually is very fast, and it's very cheap. It's cheaper than Tripo. Here you go. But what about the accuracy? First of all, respect to Meshy for this viewer. I can actually see the polygons and all that stuff. Triangles very nicely, and I can see the parts. Well, they call it smart because it's sort of like split into some parts. That's exactly what Tripo did, and I like it a lot because that's extremely useful when you take it to Blender and start processing. Here is the same example from new smart mesh like T2 by Tripo, and unfortunately it's a little bit more difficult to spot the polygons, but if you take a closer look, this one is much better. Like, first of all, there are quads, and the mesh also splits logically. I need to take it to Blender to show you. Hopefully they will actually do the same way as Meshy. Here is the Tripo in Blender, and you can see the quads and everything, and I really like how it looks. Here is it without sharps. I think it looks quite good. And what's more importantly, Tripo follows it much better. For example, you can see there's two wires and Meshy generated only one, but there must be like this tube here and there is no tube here, for example. So yeah, but from my test, I think Tripo P2 will be definitely top one for a while. So you can see what I was talking about, like, yeah, every part is separatable, like, which is absolutely great. It's very easy to work with that meshes, and Meshy also does that. So that's actually huge. That's a big respect. Here's one more test, the dog robots. So again, first of all, Meshy is limited to triangles only, and again, Tripo P2 now have quads in this new update. So here you can see the Meshy version, and here we can see the Tripo. And this one, yeah, you can see how much better it is. Like, nice quads, nice loops, and what I really like is that the smart distribution, like, of polygons. Look, so no additional division. This is just a cube. There's a flat surfaces, legs, all that things. Like, you can see quite nicely done. And with quads, it looks just amazing, right? Let me know which one you prefer, right? I think here it's quite obvious. Yeah, some artifacts. I mean, they did like the first try, but since they raised quite a lot of money, which is like the news from the X, I think they might work on it and do a huge competition to Tripo, which they already do. Things are getting very interesting. So I hope this test will help you to figure out the landscape in 3D AI. How good is Meshy 7? How good is other AI? Don't forget to jump on top3d.ai to check which one is the top one right now. Compare them yourself, vote. That will help everyone to know which one is actually worth it. That was Steph. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and my main channel, and I see you in the next videos.